Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a kind and gentle girl named Cinderella. She lived with her father, a man who loved her dearly, but after the passing of her mother, he decided to remarry, hoping to bring joy back into their lives. Alas, little did he know that his new wife was as cold as winter's breath, with a heart full of envy. She brought with her 2 daughters, who inherited their mother's arrogance and spite. Cinderella, with her big blue eyes and golden hair, was a ray of sunshine in the gloomy household. Her stepmother and stepsisters were envious of her beauty and kindness, and thus treated her as little more than a servant. Day by day, she toiled in the house, sweeping cinders from the fireplace, and that is why she was mockingly called Cinderella, for she was always covered in dust and ashes. The large house echoed not with laughter, but with the demanding tones of her stepfamily. Cinderella washed their linens, prepared their meals, and cared for their every need, all while wearing torn clothes and sleeping on a hard, cold mattress near the cinders. Despite her hardships, Cinderella's spirit was never broken, and every night she would sit by the fireplace, dream of brighter days, and remember her mother's comforting presence. One day, news came from the royal palace. The king was hosting a grand ball. The ball invited all the young maidens of the town to attend, for his son was searching for a bride. Upon hearing this, the stepsisters squealed with delight and spent their days and nights preening themselves, preparing dresses of the finest linen, and adorning themselves with jewels. Cinderella, with her heart full of hope, asked, "May I also go to the ball?" Her stepmother laughed. "You go to the ball? In your rags? Dancing with the prince?" And with eyes glinting as cold as stones, she said no more. On the night of the ball, as Cinderella watched her stepfamily parade in their finery, a single tear rolled down her cheek. She sat by the fireplace, her heart aching, when suddenly, a gentle light filled the room. Her fairy godmother appeared. "My dear Cinderella," said the fairy, "you shall go to the ball. Make haste. Bring me the largest pumpkin you can find in the garden." Cinderella did as she was told, and with a wave of the wand, the pumpkin transformed into a splendid golden carriage. Next, the fairy asked Cinderella to bring her 6 mice, a rat, and some lizards from the garden. With a flick of her wand, the mice turned into elegant white horses, the rat became a skillful coachman, and the lizards transformed into footmen. Lastly, with a soft smile, the fairy godmother waved her wand over Cinderella, and her tattered dress morphed into an exquisite gown of silvery blue, adorned with sparkling jewels that twinkled like stars. "This magic will only last until midnight," warned the fairy godmother. Cinderella nodded, her heart brimming with gratitude. As she arrived at the palace, everyone marveled at the mysterious princess in the stunning gown. She danced with the prince, who was enraptured by her grace and charm. Cinderella had such a wonderful time that she nearly forgot the fairy's warning, but as the clock began to chime midnight, she hurriedly excused herself and fled, losing one of her glass slippers on the palace steps. The next day, the prince declared that he would marry the girl whose foot fit the slipper. He journeyed through the town, searching high and low. When he arrived at Cinderella's home, her stepsisters tried in vain to fit the delicate shoe. With a hopeful heart, Cinderella tried the slipper, and it fit perfectly. Revealing her other shoe, she smiled shyly at the prince. Recognizing her at once, his heart swelled with joy. He asked her to be his bride, and with tears of happiness, she accepted. They lived happily ever after, a beautiful testament to kindness, love, and a little bit of magic.